Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Dr. Wayne Moore.
Always a pleasure to host with you.
Happy to be with you, my brother.
It's going to be a great show today.
Yes, we got some history sitting with us today.
Absolutely.
And we're going to make sure that the city of Indianapolis and surrounding areas will hear what we have to say about it.
And before we get into that, we want to thank our sponsors.
Lee Carso and Crawley, thank you for being with us for over almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
As well as the Fervent Care Christian Academy has been with us. And we look for other sponsors to come and join us this year to be a part of Real People, Real Voices. And because it's a great outlet and venue to talk about your businesses and what's going on in the community.
And speaking of outlets, you can go to YouTube and you can watch this show and others that you might have missed on WHMB TV 40 on YouTube. Also go to Facebook and like us on Facebook.
Yeah, I like that. I really do. Like us on Facebook. The first show is on YouTube.
Yes, it is.
But you can pull it up on Facebook as well in some instances if you know how to get to it.
Yep.
And so, but we hope that you'll participate. Being a fan of our show, we need you to do that because we're here to help you.
Yes, and tune in on Friday nights at 9:30,
Right.
Sundays at 5:30 p.m. That's 2 days in the week to enjoy all the wonderful things that we have for you. In just a few moments, we're going to be joined by our two esteemed guests, Mr. Reginald Duvall and Reverend Dr. Samuel Murray will be with us to talk about a historic group.
Yeah, historic group, the Tuskegee Airmen.
Yes.
So we're going to sit here and talk to them and have some interesting input about what's going on in that history.
They're going to tell us about this beautiful replica here.
Yeah.
Of an original coin that was given. So we'll be back to talk about that in just a little bit. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, it is.
It's gorgeous. So stay with us. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices, and we're joined by the Reverend Dr. Samuel Murray.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And Mr. Reginald Duvall.
Delighted. Thank you for inviting us.
You're welcome. And before we have you all kind of tell our audience about yourselves, kind of tell us, I'm going to hand this back to you, Mr. Duvall, and tell us about this beautiful coin that you shared with us.
Many people know about the Tuskegee Airmen legacy as they were collectively bestowed the Congressional Gold Medal. No, this is not gold. This is a replica, and it represents all phases of those who participated: the mechanic, the officer, and the pilot. And on the back says, "Outstanding combat record inspired revolutionary reform in the armed forces." That's what most folks actually know about, and we're proud to try to preserve that legacy, but there's more that's entailed with the receipt of this Congressional Gold Medal. And hopefully we'll get to talk about that a little bit later.
Outstanding. And you're the president of the Indianapolis chapter?
Yes, sir.
So tell us about what you all do.
Our mission is threefold. One is to preserve the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen. It's to introduce young people to the world of aviation and to provide scholarship. So it's really pretty simple. But in that, it takes some tough things, and we try to involve individuals who've had legacy experience with Tuskegee University, such as Reverend Murray.
Yes. I'm looking at my indigenous background from Birmingham, Alabama, where I was born and raised. And growing up there, I heard a lot of people talking about the Tuskegee Airmen and really had the opportunity to be directly introduced to the airmen. And one of the major members of the legacy, that was Chief Alfred Anderson, who was the Tuskegee Airman that had the opportunity to fly First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt up to let her ride and demonstrate some of the skills that they had learned and sharpened as a member of the Tuskegee Airmen group. And
She was a great supporter.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, according to some of the reports I've heard, she actually recommended to her husband, President Roosevelt, that the Tuskegee Airmen be allowed to.
I read that.
Yes. And but he was my flight instructor also.
Okay.
And I have my pilot's license that signed with his signature.
Okay.
Wow, so you have your pilot's license.
Yes, well,
Outstanding.
yes, absolutely. I have several categories of pilot's license. I licensed as a private pilot by the FAA, and also I have my commercial
Wow.
pilot's license.
Now, I've always wanted to do that.
Well, it's a wonderful opportunity. I mean, it's more exciting than anything except my career and my lifetime mission of serving the Lord.
Yes. I want to talk about an event that you all have coming up on the 9th of March. Tell us about that.
On the 9th of March, we're going to do our first annual recognition gala. And we're going to recognize a lot of the effort that's been brought together by members of our chapter in putting us back out in the community. We go to air shows. We've had great support. Many people have probably seen it, the Tuskegee Airmen Highway. All right, I-65 Representative Greg Porter helped us, assisted us with opening the door to make that happen. We need young people to go to air shows, and we're trying to be at air shows, and we're well received at the air shows that we go to. Right now, we're looking at June 7th and 8th up in the Fort Wayne Air Show. I know September 7th and 8th, there's a Grissom Air Show. We've been invited to Columbus in September, so there's a variety of opportunities to get exposed to the aviation world. And I should digress, as I know a lot of people talk about the pilots. And I think it's important to understand that the Tuskegee Airmen legacy was not just about the pilots. There were 15,000 Tuskegee Airmen. 996 were pilots.
Right.
It took a lot of people to get the airplane in the sky. And I guess I'm proud to say I turned down pilot training, even though I went to the Air Force Academy. I became a maintenance officer. So I'm acutely aware of what it takes to have the discipline and trust of the different activities to make that happen. So that's a lot of what we work with young people and our air show participants and our aviation schooling partners. And that's what a part of this gala is on March 9th, is to open the door, to welcome people, and let folks know what we're doing.
Where's it going to be held at?
At the Skyline Club. So
Is it a free event, or are tickets available, or?
it's cost
That's
$65. It's on Eventbrite.
That's fine.
So no, this is a fundraiser. None of the officers in the chapter, we don't make any money. So I have to say, this is not my first term as president, so it cost me a little bit more to be president. But I know with support from the community, we can give more scholarships to young people, or book awards to young people. We have a national scholarship that goes to the Tuskegee Airmen Scholarship Foundation out in California. If a young person does not receive a national award, we then as a chapter try to step in and support that individuals. And this year, we've got 5 applicants, so I've got a challenge, and that's what this fundraising is about, is to raise money to give to young people, because none of our officers receive any pay for their participation.
Okay.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. How much do you think you need to raise to help these 5 students? I'm always concerned about that. The community needs to know that.
My target is at least $7,000 to $8,000. At least $7,000 to $8,000, because what that
Per
will,
student or just for?
Oh, no.
Okay.
For in total.
In total, okay.
And what that will do is to provide us some margin of operating expense to be at the air show, but to make sure each student, if they don't receive a national award, again, if they receive a national award, that's fantastic. But when they don't receive, we would like to provide each student with $1,000. That's what we've historically been able to provide. So fundraising is important with an increased number of applications received.
Needs 10 grand, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, well, folks
The
who are,
gala needs to bring in $10,000.
folks who are watching can go to Eventbrite.
Right.
And you can find this event. It's going to be taking place
March 9th,
March
the
9th
Skyline Club.
at the Skyline Club, the first annual recognitions gala. Would this be under the name of the organization for people to find it?
It is my understanding that it's under the name of the organization. So I'm just the president. I'm not the head of the committee.
Program chair.
Or they could email you.
Yeah.
We'll get this
We'll get
email
this
on the
email out
screen. ELLAVUD@comcast.net. Please be sure to support this effort. Dr. Murray, very, very excited to hear your involvement. Reverend Dr. Murray.
Yes. Well, as was mentioned earlier, I am a son of Tuskegee. I graduated from Tuskegee, 1971, and a year after that, I entered into the United States Air Force, did pilot training at Craig Air Force Base in Selma, Alabama, which ironically happened to be the hometown where my mother was born. And so I was really going back home. And I completed pilot training and was assigned to fly the B-52 bomber during the Vietnam War. And it was a very successful career. I had the opportunity to do flights overseas, different combat missions, and we really were not able to go into any areas that we were landing, but we did get a chance to participate during that campaign. Yes.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
And thank you all for being great guests. Yes.
Modesty. We work with different aviation activities, and I should mention that there's a scholarship that was set up for Reverend Murray's name down in Greenwood, not a place you would normally expect for us to have opportunities. So modesty. We do work with different communities you wouldn't expect, just as the airmen.
Well, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yes.
And we'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. We're joined by Mr. Austin Taylor.
Yes, and Miss Bianca, happy to have you with us today.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
And we want to get right into the City League. What is
Yeah.
the City League and what part do you all play in that?
Yeah, so just a little bit of history, just some context. I live in a neighborhood called Crosstown, Indianapolis. It's about a mile south of the State Fair on the Monon. 2013, I moved in and immediately went to a neighborhood association meeting where the church in that area, who hosted the neighborhood association meeting, has this beautiful gymnasium that they were looking to utilize. It's kind of been underutilized, so we decided that we were going to start a open gym for young men in the neighborhood. After about a year, the church decided we weren't charging for the open gym. The church decided, hey, how do we create some revenue? Can we put on some tournaments to generate some revenue to pay for the lights and utilities in the gym? So we did. We organized about 3 tournaments, and they were okay. They were pretty average. We put a lot of time into it. We said, if we really want to do it right, how do we get the community involved? There was some organizations working in development in our neighborhood at that time. There's a lot of development going on the near north side of Indianapolis. And so we went out and we got sponsorships from businesses, and we decided that we want to use basketball as a way to generate some energy for the different community development initiatives on the near north side of Indianapolis. So with the business sponsorships, we're able to put up a $3,000 cash prize. So we attract the best basketball players in Indianapolis, so people come out just to watch the basketball. We've had guys that played at IU, Robert Vaden, Andre Owens, John Hart played at Purdue, Ron Patterson played at Syracuse. So guys come out to watch the basketball, and we also then we organize different community trainings and workshops and those types of things in the facility around the basketball tournament.
So, Ms. Harris, you do the coordinating with that.
Yes.
Tell us what you're coordinating.
So we have what we call the market at City League. So while we have this awesome basketball that is going on, we also have vendors around the community all over Indianapolis. So we have vendors who are selling goods. So whether it be body products, clothing, books, we have a couple of some authors that are coming in and selling their books. We also have local resources that are coming in. We had an IPS event where we had a panel discussion with the new interim IPS school director and some of the new commissioners on the IPS school board to come and kind of engage the community, because people talk about wanting to be engaged in what's going on. Well, this is the platform to be able to be engaged, to have access to resources and things that people may not want to, may not have access to. So where we are located in that general area, there's not necessarily a lot of access. And so this is a platform to be able to create that access. And so again, we want the community to come in, enjoy the basketball, enjoy local food vendors, and enjoy local vendors, as well as gathering more information about what the needs are of that community so that we can continue to have those needs in a centralized location.
What year are you in? How many years have you been?
Number 3.
Number
Yep,
3?
This is our 3rd event.
Yeah.
Great.
So when is the next event?
Next event will be next year.
So you already had it?
Had already hit it.
Well, we're in the midst of it right now.
Oh, okay.
We started January the 21st, January the 24th, and our championship game and community dinner night will be March the 7th.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, you have a league tournament
Yeah.
type of deal.
So yeah.
It's
Yep.
going on now.
Yep. Yes, we have 6 weeks of pool play. Each team will play 4 games. After the pool play round of the tournament, then we'll seed a single elimination tournament. We'll play all day Saturday, March the 2nd, and then the championship, 2 teams will be left, and they'll play on the $3,000 championship game will be on Thursday night, March the 7th at 6 o'clock.
Does it cost to get into
Nope,
these games?
it's free.
And,
Free?
and this is where?
It's at Little Bethel Crosstown Community Center, 3279 Winthrop Avenue, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Little Bethel.
Right in the heart of Indianapolis.
Yeah, Little Bethel, right in the southern
Yeah,
area.
yep,
Southern
absolutely.
Yeah, Little Bethel Baptist Church. I'm very familiar with that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really kind of hurt that nobody called me. You know, I'm a baller.
Hey, next year you got to get a team.
Well,
We're open to anybody.
Yeah, okay. I'm really kind of hurt about it. You know, y'all hooping in the hood, and I didn't even think about it. Yeah, I played several tournaments in.
Okay.
I wish it well. I really do. It stimulates the community. That's part of the culture of the black community here in Indianapolis, the Dust Bowl arenas and things of that nature.
Absolutely,
I'm very familiar with that and how it draws people together and what it done as it relates to vendors. Some of the idea that you're moving in the same direction, and I wish you well, because we need to have those type of situations going on in our community because they're becoming obsolete. Because there are no people who want to keep those type of situations going, and you need to be commended on that.
There's a lot of, that's one of the things that we have really tried to focus on is bringing access to the disenfranchised groups. So a lot of times that area can be left out of a lot of different things. And so this is a way to bring access back to a community that doesn't necessarily have all the access.
You know, I don't want to talk about that because that's a sore spot with me. And, you know, I see a lot of things going on in the 8 to 10 mile radius from the center of the circumference of downtown Indianapolis, but everything else around it is just being forgotten about, blighted areas. And this is a blighted area.
Yep.
And I'm glad that somebody's doing something in that area to bring people back to that community because we do not have any community development. We just have economic development for a 10-mile radius, and we need to change that. That needs to be changed.
Absolutely.
So if someone has a team, how do they get involved?
So next year, you can call me, shoot me an email. We have a website, thecityleague.org. All my contact information's on there. Shoot me an email. We have an online registration form that you fill out. It'll come to my email. The only stipulations that we have, you can't have more than 2 Division I or professional players on a roster. So that's kind
We're
of
out of it then.
that's kind
Yeah.
Just get 2 teams. Just get 2 teams.
So that's kind of like our salary cap. We want a broad, we want a handful of teams to be able to compete. Some of these guys, a couple of the guys can put together a team that nobody's gonna be able to compete with. So it's not as fun.
I'm familiar with that. I played on some of those teams.
Yeah, I understand.
Years ago, I'm serious. I mean, you know.
Many hairlines.
Many Yeah, that's how it works in tournament play.
Yep.
Stack the deck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much for coming.
To all that you all are doing. We hope that your success will continue. And let me ask you, Bianca, how do you all go about marketing this? Because this is certainly the first we've heard of it.
Right.
So we are marketing through the City League website, as we said, thecityleague.org, also through social media, through the Facebook page at the Market at City League or at City League. also through, so that's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and word of mouth. Again, we want to be able to engage with people one-on-one, so we want to be able to go and say, hey, and introduce ourselves, so it's not just a name behind the computer, but an actual face-to-face conversation. So we attend local vending events, local shops, things like that, and just kind of get our name out there as well.
And let me ask you, your staff, is it a volunteer staff or paid staff?
It's all volunteer.
Volunteer?
Yep. Yeah, last year we had a number of people that were involved in the different quality of life plans downtown. Leadership from those were on our team. This year, it's myself and Bianca, one of the elders from the church, and then a couple employees of community development corporations in the area where we work.
Well, thank you all very much. You've been great guests.
Thank you.
May God be
Appreciate it.
with you now.
Appreciate it.
Man.
Stay with us. We'll be back with the rundown. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm James Jackson, your host.
I'm Pastor Wayne Moore.
And I'm Faith McKinney, your executive producer.
And you do well.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, great guest today.
Yeah, we had great guests. Tuskegee Airmen were here
Yeah, we were sitting in the presence of great
history, and
yeah.
then we had the City League talking about what they're doing with that particular area, revitalizing it as it relates to basketball tournaments, bringing people back into the community, which is a blighted area.
Yep.
And they're doing a great job making sure resources are trying to get resources to come in that area. But we're going to be praying for them, and they're in their third year. And I think that's going to be a great venue for young people and middle-aged people to participate in.
Well, I think it was significant. He said that businesses had got that $3,000 for the championship game.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
It's great sponsorship
Yeah.
there. Talking to the Tuskegee Airmen group and the event that they have coming up on the 9th.
Yes.
We certainly want those of you who will
Yeah.
to go to the website, go to Eventbrite, $65 at the Skyline Club.
Yeah. If you've never been to the Skyline Club, this is an opportunity for you to go. And
For a good cause.
For a good cause. And they said they needed between $7,000 and $8,000. I'm asking the community to support some kind of way to where they can raise at least $10,000, because
Yeah.
I'm an advocate of helping organizations raise money to help young people.
Absolutely. I heard the MC was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's me.
we need to do that. We need to do that, and I'm one. I do put my money where my.
Well, I know you do.
All right.
Yeah, I try to.
Yeah, I've been there when you've done that.
Thank you so much. But I wish the community would do that to make sure that this event becomes something they do every year to raise money to help young people and introduce them to aviation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, and I'll be there emceeing.
You'll be
And-
emceeing?
Yes, the MC is amazing. I heard she is.
Oh, really?
Yes.
She is.
Yes.
And we're going to have to end it right there. We'll see you this time next time. Have a great night.
God bless you.